y'all doing? Hey y'all, I am getting used to a new camera. I don't know where to look, but welcome. Come on in, grab a snack and a drink. I don't know how long the video will be. This is my return to YouTube. And I was like, girl, don't be dramatic. But one thing about me, I had to be dramatic first. So let's get into it. I did want to say that I'm going to be making some changes to the channel. It's still going to be me at the end of the day, but I originally created this platform to talk about books and create a book community. I will still be talking about books, but I fell into a really bad slump, which we will get into. And I'm deciding I want to make this channel just about me, centering me and my interests, my hobbies, my experiences. You can either with it or don't, but that's what I'm gonna do. I thought about it, like if I go through different stages and I'm the kind of person that will like hyperfixate on a thing and then be disinterested in it the next week, having a whole channel dedicated to one of those things is not, yeah, like, and I really love YouTube. I like the whole filming and editing, like editing mostly when I have the time and talking to y'all. Like that's like the highlights of doing YouTube. Let's talk about my uploading schedule. Yeah, because at one point I was trying to do weekly. That was just not really working with my work schedule and my like social life balance. So my goal currently is to post at least 2 Mondays out of the month. They don't have to be consecutive Mondays, but I'm giving myself the weekend to be like editing or doing whatever. But that's also time that I usually will rest or like hang out with loved ones. So we don't know. We don't know what the girl's doing. That's basically what I'm trying to tell y'all. So don't expect things regular, okay? If you're here with me, stick with me. If you're not, don't. But this is what comes with me, okay? Really, I have just been like, these last 3 months, from October onward, today is January 25th of 2025. I have just been going through a lot of transformation and change. I moved out on my own. I have learned so much about myself emotionally, socially, just so much in these last like 2 months. It's really interesting, honestly. I would recommend it to anybody that has the access to, and is able to. It's just, nothing compares. Like there's just so many things that people tell you when they talk about living alone, but you don't really realize it until you experience it for yourself, and everyone's experience is different. I did experience a little depression. I am introverted and I don't know, sometimes I feel like I don't really need people, and it doesn't reflect on the people in my life, but I isolate myself a lot, and people have to pull me out of that a lot. And I noticed when I was living at home with my family, when I was in bad moods, I had to go to the kitchen and like talk to someone, or like when I come into the house after a bad day, like my mom was right there working from home and she's like, hey, and I'm just like, like I had to interact with people, but here I could just like shut the fuck up all day. I don't have to speak. I can have my groceries delivered. Like there's so many ways for me to be a recluse because it's comfortable. I love being alone. I love rotting in my bed. I do. So I isolate a lot. So that's really where I've been mentally, and everything happening globally. I do want to tell y'all what I've been reading. The last video I posted was like books that I'm reading that I've been avoiding, and it stopped on like the India Carter series, which that seems like years ago. I don't really remember anything anymore. I did read this book. It was called, so the only book that I read in October was The Perfect Sister by Desiree. It's the Society of Women. It's a matriarchy where they only want women there. So like if women have boys, they like take them somewhere. And it's really interesting. It's a Black community in Atlanta. So there's that. Let me read what the AI thing says on Storygraph, girl. This is a gripping and thought-provoking read that will captivate fans of complex, female-led stories, particularly those who enjoy exploring themes of sisterhood, family drama, and the unbreakable bonds of friendship, all set against the backdrop of a dark and mysterious dystopian world. They're called the Black Women Separatists, and they just feel like not even just men, but like anybody that's not Black women should not be in their community. And there are people in there that, kind of like any dystopian book that you read where people are like, wait, maybe this isn't right. What I grew up with, maybe that isn't all that there is. 3.5 stars. And then I did pick up this book from my library. I had a whole video where I was starting it in October of finally getting to books from my library. Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. My name is Mo, and today's video is dedicated to me borrowing library books and actually reading them. Yeah, would have thought. In previous, I have borrowed books from the library, kept them for 2 weeks, sometimes renewed them, then return them, like without opening the book. So we're not doing that. I'm trying to turn over a new leaf. I have Everyone's Thinking It. I can't remember. I think this is considered like compared to Ace of Spades, with the whole like rumor mill and secret things going on and Black people being targeted. I don't know. I love the cover it eats. It gets fall. I think I need this. Hey y'all, it is Tuesday of the next week. Last time I talked to y'all was on Friday, I want to say. I'm really liking reading in person. I'm really liking reading a physical book. I started this yesterday and I'm on chapter 4. We're switching perspectives between, I don't know who's who. I'm gonna assume actually that this is Ianu and this is Catan. because she like presses her hair a lot and puts on wigs. They go to this private school, London somewhere, and it's very prestigious and predominantly white. I think there's like a small pocket of black people. Iyanu was there first, I want to say, and then Katan came, and she's from Nigeria. Like their family is from Nigeria, and she like basically assimilated to white people's culture. And she's got this group that she's in. It's these two girls that are white, Sarah and Heather. And Heather, the ringleader, she kind of like stuck her neck out and protected Katan one time, and Katan kind of just feels like people actually see me, and she's very complacent in how racial things happen. Yeah, they're kind of into it. They used to be close, and then something happened, and now they're just like weird around each other. It's really tense, and I really want to know like what's the tea on that. I think whatever's gonna happen is gonna bring them back to each other and close, and I'm waiting for that. Within the walls of Woodbury Hall, an elite boarding school in the English countryside, reputation is everything. But aspiring photographer Iyanu is more comfortable observing things safely from behind her camera. For Iyanu's estranged cousin Katan, life seems perfect. She has money, beauty, and friends like Queen Bee Heather. But as a Nigerian girl in a school as white and insular as Woodbury, Katan struggles with the personal sacrifices needed to keep her place and the protection she gets within the exclusive popular crowd. Then photos from Iyanu's camera are stolen and splashed across the school the week before the Valentine's Day ball, each with a juicy secret written on it. With everyone's dirty laundry suddenly out in the open, the school explodes in chaos, and the whispers accusing Iyanu of being the one behind it all start to feel like deja vu. If Iyanu is like, you know, I'm being myself, I'm being true to myself, or whatever, however that looks, I don't care if people make fun of me for talking different or whatever, I could see why she doesn't want to be that close to her or associated with her based on what I've already read. Each girl is desperate to unravel the mystery of who stole the photos and why, but exposing the truth will change them all forever. I wonder if like it's like kind of like Mean Girls with the burn book, where like everyone has something written about them, even the person that wrote it. And I wonder who's gonna be. I feel like it's gonna be like a messy boy, or like what if it's like, what is that book, To All the Boys or something like that? Wasn't the little sister, the one that like sent out the letters? Like imagine it's Iyanu's little sister, Faye. This is pretty detailed. I am passing through certain things. Like if you like architecture or like scenery being described to you, yeah. I personally don't care. I'm enjoying it so far. There are these like little text blurbs throughout. It's not like, it might be like once every chapter, but it's not really a whole lot. But it's definitely adding something if you like mixed media. Hey y'all, last night I got to chapter 11 and I'm liking it a lot so far. I don't feel like a lot of the characters are really built up, but I think there's a lot of people involved, so it's kind of hard to do that, but I'm liking it. The obvious answer would be the Heather girl, the mean girl, because she's kind of like really smug right now. Like she's not really like pressed fully, but she's kind of like uptight about the whole thing. But I really don't feel like it's gonna be her. And I'm low-key feeling like it's gonna be Sarah, the other girl, because she's like the second best or whatever, and she's trying to get this award for like best girl. I forgot what it was called, but it's like a family legacy thing that she's been wanting to do her whole life, because it's a family thing, it's a tradition. And then Heather was just like, actually I want to do it, and everybody knows that Heather's more popular, so it's like are y'all really friends? She's just like the head, and like they're like her lackeys damn near. Like Katan, Iyanu's cousin, she just like does whatever she says. She's like, oh, we're matching tomorrow, and she's like, sure, okay. Baby, what? Oh, also random, I go by Mo on here, but my real name, my first name is Marisha. So, you know, if it's comfortable, that's what y'all know me as is Mo. You can still refer to me as that. But since we're getting a little bit more personal on this page, I do want to let y'all know that I feel like now is like, what time better than the present? You know what I mean? So I believe that I will be doing a January wrap up. We'll see. Sometimes if I don't read enough books in one month, I'll just add it to another month. So again, we will see. Everything that I'm feeling right now is just how I'm feeling right now, okay? That's what I need to let y'all know. I did read, I don't have it physically. I read it from my library, Parable of the Sower by Octavia E. Butler. It was my first Octavia book, and it's the first in a duology, I want to say. The other one is Parable of the Tenants, or Talents, I think. I will eventually get to that one. I think my library has that right now, but I'm just like, not really like trying to read that right now. I'm not going to give like the plot. I think I will whenever I do a wrap up. But Parable of the Sower, if you have not been, these are my notes from my phone. If you have not been radicalized by history and any current events already, when you read this book, you might be. It's really best to try educating people instead of like scaring them into action about like, you know, revolutions and stuff like that, or like just any kind of change that you want to see in your community or your political leaders. It's best to like inform people in ways that they can understand also. Like I think a lot of people try to have like these really like highbrow academic conversations, but you're not reaching a lot of people because a lot of people are not educated, or even if people are educated, a lot of people are lazy and don't want to research things on their own. And I'm speaking about me personally as well. I have access, I have the resources, but like listening to news on TikTok was way more digestible for me than searching out and reading like a news article or watching the news. Fear does work for some people, but not for everybody. So yeah, I think some people lose their target audience by trying to like scare them into action. I read along with it with an ebook and I listened to the audiobook and I finished it in one day. So, and that was the first book that I read on my Kindle. I have not turned on my Kindle maybe since October, and it was on 40%. So, Kindle, you chewed. You did. You chewed. Like, people talk about that battery life, and I'm definitely like, no electronic device or technology I've ever had has beat the Kindle, what is that, Paperwhite? That battery, she's untouchable. She's untouchable. And then, I will be pivoting to this in the end of the video. I have like a reading vlog where I'm reading this book, Sula by Toni Morrison. This is also my first Toni Morrison book and not my last. I did end up rating this one 4 stars. In short, like to basically try to like put this together, it does have parables of other people in the community. Well, I started this on, I want to say Monday, and I finished it today, Saturday. It was pretty fast paced. It was like 170 pages, something like that, 174. And I got this from my like local bookstore, so, and I've had it for a while, and I like when older books are yellowed and aged like that. I really do. I eat that up. Like, I'm like, yeah. And the woman on the front, beautiful black woman. Woman on the back, beautiful black woman. You love to see it. You absolutely love to see it. Toni Morrison had a lot of interesting things to say in this book. I'll talk more about it, I guess, whenever, I mean, I'll have like a whole segment of like the reading vlog portion, but I'll talk about it also in a reading wrap up should I end up doing that. I'm not trying to make y'all no promises, because whenever I commit to something, it's kind of like whenever I don't want to do it anymore. And I don't know if that's defiance or I just lost interest. I don't know. And then I did just finish Everyone's Thinking It. I started this in October, tried to read it for 2 months. I was reading it here and there. I really was interested in this book, but I fell into a really bad slump. I was just mentally out of it and I wasn't in the mood to read. I lost like the passion for it for a second. It was nothing against this book, like at all. Like, this is a good book. I got the audiobook and I finished it this morning. I was on 60% when I DNF'd it, so I didn't have that much left anyway, but it took me like an hour and a half to finish this with the speed that I was reading it on. But this is from my library. This is Everyone's Thinking It by it-aleema omotoni. I had to pick this up because I just needed to know who was starting all the drama. Like, this book is messy as fuck. Like, if you want to get into some like prestigious boarding school, like rich people, poor people tea, I teared up so many times in this book, like at least 4 or 5 times. I just felt for these kids so bad. Like, I was just like, oh my gosh. It addressed topics like colorism, racism, power dynamics, mental health struggles, internalized anti-blackness, respectability politics, biphobia, class status, sisterhood, like being in proximity to whiteness and how that affected these black children. My favorite characters are probably Faye, Ianu, Oliver, and Naveen were probably my favorites. Yeah, those 4. And now, if you're interested, I'll have the reading vlog. Hey y'all, so I am going to make this like a little clip in the video that I'm doing just to like get me back into vlogging. I am reading Sula by Toni Morrison. This is my first Toni Morrison book. I'm on page 2, hearing her describe like the black women of this, the black people of this time still finding joy, but she said that laughter was a part of the pain because they're, you know, messing around and dancing and feeling and letting go and feeling free. That was a part of the pain. And I'm like, wow, like just the way she's describing stuff in detail, like I feel like I'm there. This rich and moving novel traces the lives of 2 black heroines from their close-knit childhood in a small Ohio town through their sharply divergent paths of womanhood to their ultimate confrontation and reconciliation. Nell Wright has chosen to stay in the place where she was born, to marry, raise a family, and become a pillar of the black community. Sula Peace has, I love that name, Sula Peace, Dula Pete, has rejected the life Nell has embraced, escaping to college and submerging herself in city life. When she returns to her roots, it is as a rebel and a wanton seductress. Eventually, both women must face the consequences of their choices. Together, they create an unforgettable portrait of what it means and costs to be a black woman in America. I think this is a good first Toni Morrison. I think this is getting me more excited to read her other stuff because The Bluest Eye and Song of Solomon, they scare me. I don't know. I saw like one of them has incest in there. I can only do so much. And I just read Parable of the Sower, and I didn't even look up those trigger warnings, but there was incest in there. Like, one of the people was trying to marry and be with their cousin, like their first cousin. Not that either cousin, whatever order, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, I missed y'all. My car's warmed up now, so I might talk to y'all later. I might not. Hey y'all, Sula by Toni Morrison. I have gotten to page 46 today, and I had like screenshotted something. No, I took a picture. Let me find it. It said, Knowing that she would hate him long and well filled her with pleasant anticipation, like when you know you're going to fall in love with someone and you wait for the happy signs. Hating blank she could get on with and have the safety, the thrill, the consistency of that hatred as long as she wanted or needed it to define and strengthen her or protect her from routine vulnerabilities. Because she was just like, I haven't seen him in a while. This is just a random person. I'm not even going to name them. It doesn't matter. But she was like, oh, if I see him, am I going to want to fight him? I want to cuss him out. Am I going to want him to make love to me? And I was like, wow, this is really toxic. But like, they was going through this shit. And like, okay, this is like the 1920s. So I'm acting like this was just so back in the days. But they was really I was here for it. So I basically wrote a note. I said, I grew up with parents born in the 50s and 60s. So some of the rhetoric used is really familiar and comforting to me personally. Like, for example, growing up, my mama would warn me not to wear out my welcome when I was staying at people's houses. And I read a similar situation in the book and I was just like, I love black people. I really do. Like, people have, like, you know, done those hypotheticals like, oh, if you could be born in a different race or whatever, would you like choose to be anything other than black? And no matter what we go through, I will always choose to be black. I am so proud to be black. I love being black. And I don't give a who has a problem with it. Okay, I'm on page 70. The last time we talked, I think I was on like 47. I'm gonna be honest. I don't think I'm ever gonna reread this. Like, I was enjoying it for a little bit. And now I'm just like, there's just so many things. I can't even think. But there's been death back to back, addiction, really graphic like constipation, and like pedophilia. I never really closed out the Sola reading vlog. I will get more into depth, I guess, whenever I do like a wrap up. I enjoyed that book as much as I could. So that's the end of this video. I appreciate y'all for being here. If you made it this far, leave what you're currently reading. If you're reading anything or the last like book that really like rocked you, you know what I mean? And you know what I mean, if you know what I mean. It doesn't have to be always a 5-star, but it'll rock you. I hope that y'all appreciate this video and what I'm going to put out in the future. I hope that y'all are here for that. I'm really excited. Thank y'all for staying tuned. I don't even know how to finish this. Thank y'all. Bye. Oh, but you're not. Oh, but you are.
Crazy.
All right, let me show you inside the fridge. Let me show you to the stove.
You're crazy. This is you sober. That's what I want the people to realize.
And you know, seeing my face and also my home in 4K and also my braids that are like past their freshness, it's very humbling. I'm not quite sure how to feel about it. Something in the way you move makes me. Okay, I wanted to show y'all these tacos. They slid around the car. And also, this is not looking appealing. But I never showed y'all what I eat. Doesn't that look like disgusting? But I promise you it eats. Things just got slid around the car. Like, don't act like you never ate no shit that slid around, please. Especially when I know some of y'all eat butt. I know y'all eating ass, so shut the fuck up. Ooh, liquid courage. I still don't know where I'm looking. So I'm kind of not liking the hair look, but when I pull out the bangs, it kind of looks silly to me. Like I look like an insect. Should they go in my glasses? That's even worse. Fuck it, we ball.